Welcome back to another day with less anxiety. It is so good to have you here. It's Orest, your anxiety coach. I'm really glad that you keep making it to these. Today, I would like to share with you one of my favorite stories as a therapist. It was so much fun and it really drilled very deeply in me the appreciation for the human mind, the power of what the mind can do, and also an appreciation of how sometimes this is not a promise. I'm not saying that therapy can cure everything, but this was one of the very powerful examples of psychosomatic situation where our client had reduced hearing in most of her life. She came to see me when I'm not trying to guess ages, but I think she was over 50 at that point. When she came to see me, she came recommended by one of my beloved patients. They were all coming to a wedding, and they invited this lady. And because my previous client had just had a really good experience, she said, "Well, let me send my aunt to see you." And when she came in, very quickly we started just the introduction, chatting, just getting to know each other, and very quickly it became apparent to me that her hearing was not very good. I don't know if you have ever had this conversation where someone with some kind of a hearing problem is really trying to play off that they don't have a hearing problem. They do not like to admit it, but you begin to notice that they are just like nodding when it wasn't appropriate. They're kind of answering half of your question or start talking about something entirely different. So very quickly I realized that there was some kind of a problem with her hearing. So I asked her straight up, and she did admit when I directly asked her. She said, "Yeah, well, I have a little bit of a hearing problem," and that wasn't actually the reason for which she came in. But she said, "Yeah, I have this hearing problem, but I really don't. I didn't bring it. I didn't bring my hearing aid," which is, I guess, it must be really uncomfortable for someone to actually have that thing in their ear that everybody's going to see, and it's just kind of accepting the problem. So she really was kind of resistant to the whole thing. So I said, "Okay, well, I'm just going to try and talk louder." But that really didn't work. I continued to experience that the same first part of the conversation, that she just would be answering something different or something related, but without being specific. And in my work, being specific, being very clear is extremely important. So at some point, I just decided, you know what? We need to do something about this. So basically what I did, I grabbed my microphone, I put headphones on her, and I connected both of these to my computer, which then just playing around with some settings, I could amplify the sound. And she could begin to hear me, but poor thing, I saw a tear come out her eye, because it was just such a ridiculous setup that was needed for her to be able to hear me. My heart really went out to her, but I honestly needed the ability to make sure that she actually heard me. So we were having this conversation, and eventually I realized that every like 5 minutes tops, I needed to touch the keypad on my computer to make sure that my computer wouldn't just go to sleep while we were talking, because then it would stop all the amplification of the sound to her ear. So as we're talking, it was really interesting, because eventually we found out that she was actually like showing it to me physically. She had a level of anxiety that was generated very early on. She just basically heard a lot of the sounds that she didn't really want to hear at her home. A lot of problems, yelling, whatnot. Things that can happen. But the insane power of a child of just really wanting to close, and this is how she showed me, just close her hearing. She did not want to listen to it. She didn't want to hear any of that. And then when I saw her close her hands like this as a symbol for her hearing, we began to work on it. We began to send a lot of love, a lot of comfort, a lot of safety to the moment. And she began to actually open up. I was kind of leading her, just the idea of just opening up to life, opening up to hearing the things that are important for you, and just really feeling good about that. And eventually I noticed that she was getting into it. She was really connecting to life like that. She was beginning to feel so much better. At some point, she actually opened her hands, just like listening to the good things, seeing beyond. And then at some point, she called me out about something that I actually completely forgot about at that point. She said, I know what you're doing. And I'm like, what the hell? What am I doing? What is something that just happened? And she said, yeah, I just realized that I can hear you now. And I'm like, what? Okay. Apparently, I completely forgot about continuing to touch my computer so that it went to sleep. And she was hearing me with a noise canceling headphone on her ears, not providing sound. The sound was coming from outside, from our normal conversation, not through the computer, and she began to hear me. And I was just blown away by how insanely powerful her mind was and how much you can gain just by allowing the mind to remember all its capability, to fully open up to life and really enjoy it. It was such a beautiful moment that to this day I remember it, and I'm so happy that all the circumstances came together and I could help her out. And I really wish just like that for you. I hope that you will either find the right advice in this channel that will help you open up to life, let go of your anxiety and just focus more on the positive things, or that you find your therapist that is going to help you out. If you want that to be me, just check out my website. But I want you to stay with the message. I want the message to stick with you. Your mind is capable of doing anything for you. Anything that you are doing, you can do even better. This is not a demand on you. This is just a possibility. I hope you connect to that. And I hope to continue to see you around. If you find this video to be possibly useful for others, click like so that it gets shared more. If you want to share it with someone in particular, just go ahead, click share. Make sure that you're subscribed to keep coming back to these videos. And if you have an interesting story to share, something nice to say, please do leave a comment. And also, just do a little bit of this. You did stay till the end. You keep coming back. So make sure that you tell yourself, I'm doing good. And you are doing good. So go have a kind day. Go have an inspired day. And see you tomorrow.